What's up, guys? I'm Laura from Reading in Bed, trying a different filming location. Let me know what you think. This is my one actually nice bookshelf, but it's in a very awkward location, lighting-wise and just everything-wise. Anyways, this is Friday Reads, and it's been a couple of weeks, so time to do some catching up. This is a nighttime edition, and I don't have an adult beverage to share today because I am the designated driver today, meaning I have to go pick up my husband when he's done watching the football game. Not too exciting over here tonight, but lots of excitement with the 20 Books of Summer project that I've been working on. If you follow me on Twitter, you will have seen me post an update earlier this week. I did a little screenshot of my spreadsheet. Of course, there's a spreadsheet. The way I'm tracking things is I'm keeping track of the number of days left in the challenge, the number of pages I have left to read, and the number of book reviews I have left to write. So when I checked in earlier this week, we were at 70% of the way through the challenge. So however many days out of the 90-ish days, 70% of those have elapsed. I have read just about 50% of the 7,000-ish pages that comprise those 20 books, and I've written 30% of the reviews I need to write. So predictable, yes. I was actually keeping up with the reading quite nicely until Quicksilver came along. That was very predictable too. It's like a 950-page sci-fi fantasy novel. We'll get into that in a sec. So that's kind of slowed me down. And the reviews, I mean, that was very predictable too. The last one I wrote, which I'll link below if you're interested in reading these things, was for, I think, I don't even know what book that was for. Maybe the 5th of the books I've read, and I'm on number 12 now. And I had a really hard time writing it. It took me like 2 weeks to write. And now the next book, because I am trying to review them in the order I read them, is The Fisherman. And I'm having trouble with that too, because it was just kind of fine. I don't feel that strongly about it, although his second novel is now shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize. Sorry, not the Man Booker Prize, the Booker Prize. So maybe I can talk about that rather than doing a straight up review, because I kind of don't care enough to write a review. With Refuse, I did care. I had lots of thoughts. It was just sort of narrowing it down and making it manageable. With The Fisherman, it's sort of like, meh. So those are tough reviews to write, as I'm sure you all know. So that's where I'm at. I mean, will I finish this by September 3rd? No. Hopefully I can just kind of keep it going after that and finish the reading, finish the reviewing. It's a good challenge for me. Although I am already starting to get the itch to read other things, to do some rereading, just anything that isn't this 20 books list. Okay, so that's how that challenge is going. Now, as far as books I've been reading, I don't remember where I was 2 weeks ago when I last did one of these, but I did finish Arlington Park by Rachel Cusk. It was pretty good. Very different from her, Transit, Kudos, and Outline trilogy of weird autofiction. It was a very kind of straightforward, contemporary look at upper middle class suburban motherhood, which sounds kind of terrible, but it was pretty good. She wasn't afraid to make most of her characters pretty awful, which is you kind of need to do that to make something like that interesting. If everyone's redeemed in the end, then that's, not nearly as much fun as when everyone is just terrible and remains that way. So it was pretty good. It has some laugh out loud moments for me. I was listening to Say Nothing, which is a nonfiction book. It's an account of a very specific incident that happened during the Troubles in Northern Ireland, but a broad look at sort of the Troubles as a whole, particularly in the 1970s. Listening on audio, really, really good, but it's a long audiobook, about 14 hours, and I just could not get through it in the allotted time. It's because I didn't start it soon enough. When you put something on hold, like an audiobook at the library, when it's available, it automatically borrows in. I was like, no, not yet. So that's what happened there. I think I'm going to buy the book because it is that good. I do want to finish it. I'm only, I think I still have 9 or 10 hours left on the audiobook, so a fair amount. And I think it's the kind of book I could pass on to someone or get my husband to read. So, depending if I can get it on sale, it'll be either $30 or $38. It's there's value there. So I think I will end up buying that maybe this weekend. And then apart from that, it's all about Quicksilver by Neal Stephenson. So this is my first Neal Stephenson book. I know it's quite beloved by some people out there. It's not what I expected at all. I thought it was sci-fi. I see these big books and I know it's a trilogy, and I know he's written sort of cyberpunk-ish stuff, I believe. And he's got a new one out called Fall, I think, and that one sounds very hard sci-fi. It's about a guy who uploads his consciousness into the cloud or something before he dies, and all the implications of that. But this one is really more of a historical fiction with some fantasy elements and some sci-fi elements, but the world is very much our world with just a few little extra things added in, maybe alchemy actually kind of works, and there's sort of this island and group of people that I don't think exist in real life, and I think they're from another one of his books called Cryptonomicon. So apparently reading Neal Stephenson is this big thing where you have to read all the books and they all connect, and I think that's pretty cool, but it can be pretty daunting for someone coming in fresh and for someone who isn't a big reader of these kind of genres. It's pretty easy reading though. I'm on about page 600. It's taking me so long only because I've been pretty busy and there've been some days that I haven't read at all. But the days I am reading, I am trying to get through 100 pages a day-ish. So yeah, I don't think I have much more to say about it right now until I'm done, but I am enjoying it. I guess one thing I'll say, one thing I do really enjoy, this book is set in the 1600s, is that several of the characters are trying to invent computers and trying to invent the internet. It kind of reminds me of the biography of Diderot I read earlier this year, because Diderot was in 1700s, but he was trying really hard to invent Wikipedia and kind of the internet. All these people, over the years before, there was even electricity, let alone anything else, they had the idea. They were so close. Because, I think Neal Stephenson is basing this stuff on real life. Most of the characters, other than the main point of view characters, are real people, including, the name's not going to come to me, but really famous scientists who probably did go through this stuff and, invented binary systems of numbers and stuff. And it's you can see the wheels turning and you can see them getting so close. It's if only electricity existed, or, you're right there. You're just a couple hundred years too early. And I think that's really cool. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I've read books like that before, and it just, there's something really, cute isn't the right word, but it's the one that comes to mind. It's cute. It's interesting. It's neat. I don't know. I enjoy it. So I'm enjoying that part of the story. So let's see. I guess the one other thing I wanted to do is just give you a bit of a preview, because I have been reading Quicksilver for a long time, and I probably got at least another week left. But, I do have other books coming up in this 20 Books of Summer project I'm doing. So I think the next 3, I'm not sure about the order, but I think the very next one is going to be Near to the Wild Heart by Clarice Lispector. Very appropriate for Women in Translation Month. Also experiencing a lot of FOMO because I can't just jump right in, because, I'm reading these books and reading them in order. So this is coming up really soon. And then I think after that, I've got The Snow Child, which has been on my shelves for very, very long time. That was part of this whole project, is to get some of these books read that have been on my shelf for an embarrassingly long amount of time. And then I also have My Brilliant Friend coming up, another one that's been on my shelf for a very long time, and another Women in Translation Month appropriate title. So hopefully I'm pretty sure with these 3, I should, certainly get to them in August and within sort of the 20 books period. There'd be more books after that. Whether I actually get to them in time, we shall see. So other than that, I just wanted to give a couple of quick little shout outs. One is for a podcast. So Right Reads is a podcast that I've guest hosted a couple of times, and they just put out an episode with a guest host a new one to them, Natalie, who I think used to sell books with both Tanya and Kurt, the other hosts. The book that they were reading this month was Madame Victoria by Kathleen LaRue, so another really good Women in Translation Month title. And it was a really, really good discussion. Tanya and Nat were making use of one of the sound booth kind of things that we have at the library here in Edmonton, and you can, like, the sound is really good. The only unfortunate part is you have to book those by the hour, and they were like just getting into this discussion about this book and then they got kicked out, so it kind of cut off mid-conversation, which was weird. But this book sounds so cool. It's sort of linked short stories, and it's all based on a real event where human remains were found, I think, like buried underneath a hospital in Montreal or something like that. And all of these short stories are sort of like possible explanations. Like, they never identified who this woman was. They nicknamed her Madame Victoria. Like, that is a real thing. And Kathleen LaRue just kind of takes that and runs with it and creates sort of backstories for different possibilities for who this woman could have been. Sounds like a very Emma Donoghue kind of thing. She had a short story collection called Astray that was different premise, but sort of the same idea. So it sounds awesome. If you're looking for something a little different for Women in Translation Month, something from an indie press, this would be a really good one. So check out their podcast. And then BookTube-wise, I just recently started watching Hannah Tay. I found her because she is reading the Booker Prize books, but I just recently watched her vlog, and I don't watch a lot of vlogs. I'm not really into a lot of vlogs, but her vlog made me laugh because her boyfriend took her to a metal concert, and it really reminded me of going to those kind of concerts with my now husband. But at the time when I started dating him, he was in a metal band, so I was like, yeah. She was vlogging like from the bathroom at this club, and yeah, it was really good. She's reading all the Booker books, so I am into that. Peg the Book Prize Maniac is back and giving me major FOMO because, of course, she's reading the Booker books, and she is currently reading Duck's Newburyport, and her video about it, just about her reading process. She's not even done yet. This giving me major FOMO because I really want to read it, but I'm going to wait for the North American edition to come out. Obviously, my plate is full, so, you know. And speaking of vlogs, there is this vlog tag going around. I kind of want to do it, although I don't know how long. Like, I think it's going to take me a long time to do. There's a lot of prompts. Two I watched recently that kind of couldn't be more different, but I loved both of them. One was by Remembered Reads, and one was by Jay Shay. So Remembered Reads, hers is very short, almost no talking. It's just, you know, music and scenery and lots of her dog. Whereas Jay Shay's is very long, lots of talking. You know, that's kind of his thing. But Remembered Reads version was just like very chill and calming, and Jay Shay's was like just very funny and engaging. So yeah, check both of those out and let me know if you want to see me do one of these, because it's quite an undertaking, but I am interested enough. I don't think I've been tagged, so, you know, if you want to give me a little encouragement, please do so in the comments. And that's it. This is long enough, so hope you're having a good Friday. I am off to watch some of your Friday Reads videos now.